All right, so get this right. There's this crazy cool new AI voice feature that's got everyone talking.
Right.
But here's the thing. It's only available in the US and the UK.
Okay.
And the UK just got access last week, and we're here in the EU? Like, what gives?
Yeah.
And it's not even like a tech issue. It's all because of regulations.
Yeah, what's interesting here is how much the EU is focusing on data privacy.
Right.
It's not just about, releasing new tech, but making sure that it's rolled out responsibly.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the EU's, what some people call infamous, GDPR.
The GDPR.
Yes, the General Data Protection Regulation.
Yeah, everyone's heard of it, but who really knows what it's all about, right?
Right.
So, like, why is it such a big deal for something like an AI voice?
So think of GDPR as this digital bodyguard for all of the EU citizens and their data.
Yeah.
Every time, like, a company wants to use your data, they have to get past this GDPR bodyguard.
Right.
And when we're talking about voice data, it gets, well, really interesting because it's not just words, right?
Yeah, it's like your voice is unique.
Exactly.
It's like a fingerprint. Everyone's is different.
Yeah, voice data is considered biometric data under the GDPR, which basically means there's other stricter set of rules for it. Like, imagine someone uses a recording of your voice to, say, get into your bank account.
Yeah.
That's exactly the kind of risk that the GDPR is trying to, prevent. And a lot of EU citizens are very concerned about this.
I bet. Where does this even leave OpenAI?
Right.
Like, how are they going to get around this to launch their voice AI?
I mean, they need to prove that they can handle this data, it's very sensitive voice data, without putting anyone's privacy at risk.
Okay.
Remember that report, I think it was from the European Data Protection Supervisor, where they found that something like half of AI systems, almost half in the EU, have had issues complying with GDPR.
Wow. So it's like a huge problem.
Particularly when it comes to, this type of data.
Okay, so almost half is a lot. No wonder OpenAI is being so careful. But so it's not just the GDPR, right? They have the AI Act to deal with too, right?
You're totally right. The AI Act is a whole other beast. It's like a whole rule book just for AI, just came out this year.
Okay.
And it's designed to make sure that the development and use of AI is ethical.
Okay, so break down this AI Act for me, because I've heard about it, but I don't really know how it works.
Sure. So basically it puts AI systems into these categories, right? Based on the risk that they pose.
Okay.
So you have low risk, like your spam filters and stuff.
Yeah.
All the way up to the big no-nos where it's just straight up banned.
Right.
So where does OpenAI's voice mode fall on that spectrum?
Where does it fall?
It's still being debated, but
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it'll probably be labeled high risk.
Wow.
Anything that can have a big impact on our lives. Or our fundamental rights is going to be under, intense scrutiny.
Right, so that means what for OpenAI then?
Basically stricter regulations, more hoops to jump through. And if they don't comply, we could be talking massive fines.
Really?
We're talking like 20 million or 4% of their global turnover, which is a lot of money.
That's huge. Wow, that's intense.
Yeah.
So, I got to ask, why even bother with the EU at all then?
Right.
It's just, hurdle after hurdle.
It's not that they're anti-AI, though.
Okay.
They really want to make sure that it's used responsibly, ethically, get it right from the start.
So it's more about setting a precedent.
Yeah.
Like a standard for everybody else.
Exactly. And what's interesting is this approach that they're taking could actually end up shaping how AI is developed all over the world.
Really?
Think about it. The EU, huge market.
Yeah, it's massive.
And if they're focused on responsible AI, it could mean that other companies are going to have to follow suit.
Huh. I never thought of it like that. It's like they're kind of like the strict parent setting the example.
Yeah, in a way.
Okay.
And they're serious about this. There was this report, I think it was by the European Parliamentary Research Service. And get this, only 7% of companies in the EU are using AI extensively right now.
What? Really?
Compared to 25% in the US is a big difference.
Okay, so the big question.
Yeah?
What about those in the EU dying to try this AI voice mode?
Right. Well,
any hope on the horizon?
Remember how we were talking about the UK just getting access last week?
Yeah.
Just a few days later, OpenAI, they make another announcement.
Okay.
They're rolling out the advanced voice mode, but it's only for Teams and educational accounts in the EU.
That's a big deal though, right?
It is, especially so soon after the global launch.
So, like, what do you think it means?
It seems like OpenAI is finding ways to navigate all of these regulations.
Yeah.
Maybe they figured out a way to fast-track the approval for certain users, Maybe they had to show they had specific privacy things in place. And they prove that their system is, like, airtight.
Right.
We might see a full launch sooner than we think.
Okay, so how soon? I'm trying to be optimistic, but are we talking weeks, months?
It's really hard to say for sure.
Okay.
If OpenAI has found a way to speed up the process,
right,
it could be just a couple of months,
Okay.
But if there are any issues or they need more time to prove they're fully compliant, it could be pushed to, like, late 2024.
Ugh, okay. So, best case scenario, we're playing with this cool new voice tech early next year.
Right.
Worst case, we're waiting a little longer.
Pretty much.
Okay, well, it all comes down to OpenAI and whether they can handle all these EU regulations then.
Exactly. They're going to have to become experts in not just AI, but the GDPR, the AI Act.
It's a lot.
It's like they're walking a tightrope.
Right.
Trying to innovate.
Yeah.
But also follow all these rules.
So what does that mean for the future of AI then? I mean, not just for OpenAI, but for anyone developing this kind of technology. I mean, it really feels like we're seeing this new side of tech development now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the decisions being made now, like the regulations, they're going to be influencing things.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a really important time for all this, of what we're going to have to deal with as AI becomes, more a part of our everyday lives.
Yeah, it makes you think, what else is going to get caught up in these regulations? Like self-driving cars, or what about facial recognition?
It's going to get even more complicated as AI gets more advanced. And everyone has to be on the same page.
Yeah.
The people making the rules, the tech companies, and of course us, the people using it all.
Yeah, well, I'm glad the EU is really trying to be ahead of the curve on this AI stuff.
Yeah.
Even if it means that we don't always get the cool new toys right away.
It's about finding that balance.
Yeah.
Where we can have innovation, but we're not throwing our values out the window.
Right. Yeah, it's not easy, but someone's got to do it.
For sure.
Well, this has been so interesting, learning about AI and data privacy and just what the future holds.
Absolutely.
So thanks for joining me. This was really eye-opening.
It's been my pleasure. Thanks for having me.